So, we did famous last words, and I thought that might be the last famous words we did. But a lot of you guys wanted more, and that's good, because I found some people's final words on this earth that are even better than the first video we did, I think. My name is Danny Burke, and at your request, here is the top 10 famous last words part 2. Coming in at number 10 now, we have Nostradamus. You guys might recognize him as the French physician who made predictions about the distant future when he was alive. Now, although he was born over 500 years ago, some people claim he successfully predicted huge events such as 9/11, JFK's assassination, and the rise of Hitler. On Nostradamus' deathbed, after suffering from years of gout, he turned to his secretary and made one last prediction. He said, "Tomorrow at sunrise I shall no longer be here." Now, say what you want about his other predictions, because he definitely got this one right, as he was found dead the very next morning. Alright, next up at number 9 now, we have James French. He was a convicted murderer who was spending life in prison and decided he didn't want to do that, he wanted to die. He was too scared to commit suicide though, so he killed his cellmate in order to get the death penalty. He was given death by electric chair. After James French was strapped into the chair, his very last words were, "How's this for your headline? French fries." Now, it's not often that comedy and executions come together like that, but when they do, they are as memorable as this. At number 8 now, we have Sid Vicious. Born as John Ritchie, Sid Vicious was the notorious bass player for the Sex Pistols, the band that has been credited with starting the whole punk movement in the UK. In 1978, he allegedly killed his girlfriend Nancy Spoogen. The following year, he committed suicide through a massive heroin overdose at 21 years of age. His last words were found in a suicide note in his jacket pocket. It read, "We had a death pact. I have to keep my half of the bargain. Please bury me next to my baby. Bury me in my leather jacket, jeans, and motorcycle boots. Goodbye." Okay, at number 7 now, we have Charles Darwin. He's known for being one of the founding contributors to the theory of evolution, that all species have descended over time from common ancestors. He faced a real uphill battle in his life from the public with his theory, which was quite controversial at that time. He also struggled internally to reconcile his theory with his own religious beliefs. However, on his deathbed in 1882, after suffering from heart failure, his final words were to his wife Emma, telling her, "I am not the least afraid of death. Remember what a good wife you have been to me. Tell all my children to remember how good they have been to me." Alright, at number 6 now, we have Malcolm X. He was a powerful civil rights activist who helped define the struggle for equality by black Americans in the 1960s. He was a member of the Nation of Islam, and after a serious dispute with some of the members there, he was assassinated by 3 of them. Malcolm X was addressing a 400-person audience when the assassins started shooting at him on stage. Just before the guns went off, his very last words were, hold it, let's cool it, let's be cool, brothers." At number 5 now, we have Joseph Wright. Joseph Wright wrote the dictionary. Well, one of them at least. He spent years compiling the English dialect dictionary with thousands of words from very specific places. The dictionary was his greatest achievement and arguably his life's work. In 1930 he contracted pneumonia. On his deathbed he turned to his wife Elizabeth and said his last ever word, dictionary. I'm not making this up. He turned to his own wife and said the name of the book he had been working on. I guess he might have told her he loved her just before that, but I don't know, seems a little bit odd. What do you guys think? Alright, coming out at number 4 now, we have General John Sedgwick. If it wasn't for his last words, he probably would have just been another general in the American Civil War. However, during the Battle of Spotsylvania Courthouse, he turned to his men and saw them trying to duck away from the enemy's bullets. He thought they were just being kind of ridiculous and said to them, they couldn't hit an elephant at this distance. He was then struck by a bullet and killed on the spot, making those his last ever words. I'm not sure if that one's tragic, funny, or just unbelievable. Maybe all 3. Alright, coming out number 3 now, we have Groucho Marx. He was one of the legendary Marx brothers and a personal hero of mine. He had one of the most comedic minds of all time and was known around the world for his one-liners, witty jokes and quips. He once famously said in an interview that he intends to live forever or die trying. In 1977, at the age of 86, he was admitted to hospital in LA due to pneumonia. On his deathbed, he turned to those by his side. His last words were simply, This is no way to live. Alright, at number 2 now we have Joan Crawford. She was an incredibly famous actress in the 1930s, becoming one of Hollywood's most known movie stars and one of the highest earning women in the US. She suffered a heart attack in May 1977, and as she lay on her deathbed, her housekeeper began to pray for her out loud. Joan Crawford turned to her and uttered her final words, saying, "Damn it, don't you dare ask God to help me." Now say what you want about those last words, but you can't say they were weak. And finally now, at the number 1 spot we have Steve Jobs. He was one of the co-founders of Apple and is recognized as one of the pioneers of the computer revolution. He helped steer Apple into the tech giant it has become today. I'm sure many of you guys are watching this on iPhones as proof of that. In 2003, he was diagnosed with cancer. He battled it for a further 8 years before suffering a respiratory arrest and dying on October 5th, 2011. He had lost consciousness the day before and had died with his wife, children, and sisters by his side. Before he slipped away, he was said to have looked at his sister, then at his children, and then at his partner. Then he looked over their shoulders behind them, and his last ever words were, "Oh wow, oh wow. Oh wow." Kinda mysterious, that one. Well guys, I have that feeling that I did at the end of the last video. This kind of stuff is morbidly fascinating in a weird way. A lot of people have said some pretty profound or strange things right before they died. Would you guys like to hear more of them in a potential part 3? Let me know in the comments section below. I'm Danny Burke. I hope you're all having a lovely day, and I'll talk to you in the next video.